This is part 2 of all the watches I would buy if money was no object, and I didn't have a family and I had some other profession where I made more money. Rolex Daytona Meteorite in white gold. Why include a Rolex on the list? Well, just because. I mean, we're fantasy dreaming about everything. Why not dream that, that this watch could be available at retail? It's around the $48,000 Australian mark. It takes a just insanely desirable and popular collection of the Daytona into stratospheric levels with a Meteorite dial. And again, it's on Oysterflex, so you're getting a lot of touches that probably for the post Rolex wearer that's going to come back and choose something completely out of the box to wear, this is the watch. 48 grand, I mean, you should be so lucky to be able to spend that on this watch. If you can, go do it, just do it. POA, it's every watch journalist's worst acronym, price on application, but that's what we have for this Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Flying Tourbillon with a fume blue dial that sort of collapses through the exploded tapisserie into this center point where the flying tourbillon can be seen through this aperture. I have tried this watch on the wrist at the AP manufacturer in Le Brassus in Switzerland, and it is just everything. It is the watch that I would probably just leave my family for and just sell everything I owned and just live happily ever after staring into this flying tourbillon. This isn't recording, is it? No, I legitimately would do anything for this watch. It's amazing. It's about as unobtainable as all the other choices, so don't be hating. But on the wrist, honestly, that the combination, the way that the exploded tapisserie focuses the eye towards the flying tourbillon, the tourbillon itself, the Royal Oak shape itself, it just goes on and on. I cannot remember a year where Cartier has had such an ascension as the last year. It is on the wrists of rappers. It is dominating auction results. It is changing trends with ridiculously small sizes for men. And for me, the most fascinating model of all has always been the crash. This macabre backstory that it's based on what happened to a watch that was on the wrist of someone who was in a car accident in London in the late 60s. It's all just fascinating. And now we have a watch release in 2021, the Mechanical Legends Crash Skeleton. And now what the skeleton does to this dial is it takes the Roman numerals and sort of melts them into the bridges and shape of the dial. And you're trying to work out the time based on this, not only kind of Edward Munch, is that his name? Edward Munch? The guy, the Scream guy. Anyway, this Munch-shaped case with then melted numerals. I mean, good luck trying to find the time, that's not the point. This would be a watch that if I had $104,000, I would strongly consider buying immediately, if I could, because again, I think what I've succeeded in doing, everyone, is choosing watches that are at a very high price point that are practically all sold out and unobtainable. So I apologize for this list, the entire list. I don't think anything I've mentioned yet is available. So I'm sorry, but this watch is indicative of a major trend in 2021. I've got to include it, and I absolutely love it. And would I wear it? I'd wear the hell out of a Cartier Crash. Thanks for asking. So Louis Vuitton had two major winners at the GPHG, and one of them was the Tambour Street Diver. That was controversial, and honestly, I scratched my head and thought, okay, this is not what I expected for a dive watch. However, having experienced the watch, I kind of get how the angle might be on that. It's quite different. The aesthetic is quite strong, and it's getting a reaction. Secondly, the watch that definitely should have won its category is the Louis Vuitton Tambour Carpe Diem. And that's because it's just awesome. An animated watch that creatively tells the time. We have a skull with a snake crawling through the skull, and we have a snake's tail that moves to indicate the minutes. And we have an eye socket obscured by the snake's head that tells the hour. Like this is exactly what animated watches were created to do. They weren't functional. They weren't to expedite your knowledge of the time. They were there so that you could show someone how fucking cool your watch was. And that's what this Louis Vuitton does. When I saw this at the GPHG, I was just like, I was excited. You know, this is an area of watchmaking that is absolutely legitimate, and this is a super creative execution from Louis Vuitton. The skull and some of this memento mori type of symbology I thought was really cool. This watch is just rad. I think, you know, again, it's a POA, so I can't tell you how much it'll cost, but if you want it, I expect you're not really going to quibble over the bucks. Last night was the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, and if you watched that Grand Prix, you would have noticed that Tito Wolff got a little bit upset at a point and threw his headset on the ground. This is the head of Mercedes Formula One team. And as he did that in slow motion, you might have noticed an IWC on his wrist that you just don't see in the boutiques or the shops. That was the Big Pilot Shock Absorber XPL, which sells for around 115,000 Australian dollars. Now this watch is not like any other watch. It is ceratanium construction, so that's my favorite ever IWC material, so a big tick there. But it's not for any other purpose than to survive intense shocks. I don't know whether Tito achieved 30,000 Gs when he violently threw his headset on the ground, but that's what this watch can withstand. If you were to knock your watch on the internal cockpit of a jet going God knows what Mach, this watch is able to, through its independent springing mechanism, it is actually insulated within the case. It can withstand 30,000 Gs. So, I mean, that's always handy if you're going to throw things around and have tantrums. But this, it's a great watch. It's a great story. So apparently it's Toto Wolff, which I dispute that, Matthew. I'm being told off here. Maybe in the comments you can remind me if I'm right and just tell Matt that he's wrong. Tito/Toto/Tyro, whatever this gentleman's name is, he threw his headset on the ground so hard that this watch was maybe pushed to maybe 1 G, but it can handle 30,000. It's an insane piece of engineering from RWC, but it's what they do very well, and it's very much part of Chris Granger-Ayres' mandate, which is to integrate the watch with the worlds that it plays in. I think it's really cool, and if I had 115,000 just lying around just gathering dust, I'd go for one and I would push it to its limits. I don't know how, but I would find a way. Okay, back to Hublot and the Big Bang Ceramic Integral Stormtrooper. I found this watch incredibly charming. It's light, it's entirely ceramic, so it feels great on the wrist. It is everything proof. It is sweat proof, scratch proof, life proof. I wore it for a week and had 3 small children trying to destroy it. You couldn't even see a scratch on it. The color scheme is, to me, very attractive. Like, if you're gonna have a white watch, go a shiny white watch. If you're gonna have a shiny white watch, make it a ceramic shiny white watch. I can't pull off a J12. I don't intend to anytime soon. This would be my kind of answer to a J12 by Chanel. It's $32,000. I think it's pretty rad. I actually think it's what Hublot have come here to do. Like, what is their mission? Their mission is to create fun, incredibly luxurious executions of watches. You know, Jean-Claude Biver talked about creating a luxury swatch. I think this watch absolutely nails that. You can't machine ceramic into these tiny little integrated links very easily. So of course a lot of work's gone into the watch. I like it a lot. I think I could absolutely truck with this. Look, I know I'm not your favorite person after this list. I know that I might have stretched the friendship. I might have broken all the initial rules, which are that we're trying to make these watches still available. And I'm gonna end on a note of pure agitation, because I'm gonna mention now that I would really like to include this Zenith Felipe Pantone Defy Extreme 21 on this list. Apologies, also long gone. This watch is just amazing. Again, this is a brand untapped. They're just, I think they kind of got the wind in their nostrils. They go from out, you know, success to success by being really brave. And I think partnering with Felipe Pantone, who's a graffiti artist and a graphic artist who uses grayscale and then rainbow coloring, it's just to amazing effect in this watch, you know, right down to the glitched hand and the way that, you know, these two schemes come together in such an interesting way. It is one of Zenith's hardest to get limited editions of recent times, maybe not including ours. This is also very hard to get. Now this Defy El Primero 21 is 44 millimeters in size, which means it is a large watch. But honestly, with what's happening on this dial, you kind of want people to see it. Like, this is not a watch that is gonna shrink from attention. It craves attention, and it certainly got mine this year. And that's how I'm gonna finish this list, with another unobtainable watch. So I apologize. I I'm just here to give you dreams. I'm here to make you excited about what could be. These watches are all going to circulate, so even if you missed out on them the first time, maybe it's in your stars to pick up a Vacheron Overseas Dual Time Everest Edition. Maybe there is a Felipe for you in the future. Never stop dreaming, kids, and don't forget to tell us what you are wearing. I am wearing the Bamford GMT1 Time+Tide Club Edition. I love this little watch. Bamford's great. It's not in this price point. You can definitely get a Bamford. And also, tell us what lit your dreams on fire in 2021. Just tell us which watch you still want, even though you can't have it, because that's kind of what we ended up doing today. Thanks for watching. Thanks for going on this whole journey. We've gone from under 1,000 to the stuff of dreams, just like that. It's been really fun. It's been great being with you this year. I know that many of you in the comments are in all the comment sections, which is kind of a joy, kind of a pain in the ass depending on who you are, but you know, I'll be down there duking it out as always. Thanks so much for watching Time+Tide, and have a great break.